Okay. Let's speed run through this thing.
Actuating the barrier.
Whatever, who goes? Okay. Here, I watched this video or this VOD already, so I have all of the, understanding of what is going on and what you're supposed to be doing. So we're going to look at this, and I'm going to try and rapid fire tell you some things that you need to adjust and whatnot. So we're going to be mainly looking at your micro here, continuations of things that we've already talked about before, obviously, right? Because I'm only going to stop yapping in your ear about it until you actually fix everything. So get on it. It's been this long, and your micro is still iffy. But no, don't worry about it. Well, yeah, worry about it, but don't worry about it. I'm going to be working on a little bit of your micro, a little bit of your, micro positioning, some cooldown usage, a lot of cooldown usage actually. But that's kind of going to be a secondary thing. Mainly though, macro wise, I have been noticing some minor struggles when it comes to your positioning in terms of where you are setting up and staging for fights. And I want to look at that. I want to kind of explain how we want to think about this and then move forward from there, maybe kind of going and showing some examples and practice-wise things, right? But a lot of the we're going to do a lot most of that when you end up switching to Reinhardt later on. Most of the segment is going to be micro stuff, but it is also going to be a lot of where are we staging for fights, but also where are we taking these fights as well, right? Okay. Right. So first thing I wanted to talk about is this. This is just going to be a micro thing, right? You're about to make a really risky rotation. You're about to make a really risky rotation. You need to time this well. So you start swinging out. The second that you start swinging out, you wait about a quarter second to get them to actually pay attention to you. But once you do this, your shield should be out, right? Your shield should be out right now. You want to avoid taking a lot of this chip damage, but your shield is out really, really late, so you end up taking that water orb to the face, and now your shield is out at the wrong moment. You don't need your shield to be out right now, right? You're not even being peeked by the soldier, the Orisa's mid rotation. The water orb isn't out yet. You're gonna have time before that next water orb comes out. So the water orb, you don't need to be putting shield up right now, right? This is now the second opportunity where you need to push shield up, but now you don't have the shield because you had already just taken the shield down, right? Then that's the second thing. Shield is up too late again, so you're down to 234 HP. And then this, kinetic grasp here is just, completely unnecessary because you're only just using that because you're 1 HP. Right, so we lost a whole bunch of resources here from an inefficient shield usage. Now, granted, this wasn't necessarily something that was easy for you to do and easy for you to achieve, but it was definitely important, right? 100% important. If you were going to do something as risky as making this rotation, you needed to cycle your cooldowns really well here. You did not do so, and because of the fact that you did not do so, you're getting punished for it, and you're going to get punished for it in a second way because Life Weaver is going to decide that, oh wait, you're not in a great stage right now. Honestly, if I was that Life Weaver, I probably would decide the same thing. Okay. You finally make this rotation. Great. Miss the rock, happens. I want you to not miss the rock, but I'm just saying because I'm not going to coach you on missing a rock, right? Now, here's a fun thing: you don't have your shield here because your shield's busted. You're going to use kinetic grasp, but you also simultaneously know that you're going to be making this rotation because you cannot sustain this position. Just do everything in one fluid motion. Just go. You pop the kinetic grasp, rotate to behind this car. You're getting there. You're going there, right? Should have been done in one fluid motion. Just get there fast. Get there fast. Right. Now, here's the next part. Me personally, I do not like holding this close on Sigma. Now, you're playing Sigma. He does have brawl potential, and you're playing into a lot of, decently ranged heroes. So I get it. The problem is that the second that something goes wrong back here, where we are not taking this fight on a even trade terms, the second that that happens, you have no response, right? There is no response that you can do to prevent yourself from taking a brawl here, right? I think that playing back here is totally fine. Just leave your Sojourn to her own devices. She'll be okay. I think that rotating through here and holding here and spamming poking here is fine. Just drain some resources real quick. Then we can walk up later and then, you know, take the space that you've already been taking once we're deciding to hard push. That's fine. What you're doing right now, it's not going to go punished. But if the enemy team realizes that they have hands, this is going to get really, really dicey for you. So I don't recommend this. But that was a good trade there. And I think the rest of this fight is really just going to be like I don't even need to like say much here. This is just smooth sailing. But you kind of see how like this fight kind of started becoming really, really brawly really fast. Now I will admit that it is mainly due to the fact that your DPS are playing in horrible positions right now. But at the same time, like, you can't control your DPS in their positioning, right? So it's like, don't bank on these guys, their ability to actually, like, you know, have hands. You need to be, or don't bank on the enemy not having hands. You need to be in a position where, like, if push comes to shove, you can hold your own. And in this situation, there's not really much you can actively do, except for just hope that your Illari just does something with her ultimate, which she's going to do something with your ultimate. And then we're going to pop tree, and that's going to be fine. But that's just something to bear in mind. Yeah, we popped like 3 ults. Might as well pop yours too. I don't know why you haven't yet. Dang, Sigma does damage. Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, now this is the next part that I wanted to talk about. Okay. So there are 2 things that are of importance here. We're going to be talking about micro, we're going to be talking about macro. Now, I'm going to go with the macro first, actually. Looking at the current situation, Sojourn is in spawn, right? Lifeweaver is in main pushing cart. All we need to do, what we should be thinking about right now is the fact that cart, because, you know, cart is the #1 priority. Cart is the #1 priority. It's going to be the #1 priority as long as it gets up to here, right? We're going to have the ability to push cart continuously all the way through up here because we have all of this space, right? So we don't need to do anything significantly offensively. We just need to defend the space that we do have, right? And that should be your main thought process right here, right? We just need to get cart here. How do we get cart here? We hold space, right? That being said, what this essentially means is that our goal, our primary goal here, is not to do as much damage as possible. Our primary goal in this instance is to have the difference in damage between yourself and the enemy team be as wide as possible, right? So we don't need to be shooting at 50 people, hitting every cooldown. All we need to do is make sure that if we are shooting just a little bit of damage at one person, they are getting negative damage into me, right? That's all we need. And just to make sure that that's the case, that leads into the micro of just hold corner. Just hold close here to cover here. Shoot a little bit, right? You have LOS this way. If you take too much damage and you need to get some space off to keep your cooldown so that spending them too much, then you can just back up a little bit and then peek out again right now. Right, this position over here also could feel a little bit more comfortable. I understand that this is you want to take this position based off the off angle situation. Honestly, I kind of agree. This is probably going to be the better position for you to take team wise, right? Because your teammates definitely do not want to be here right now, at least this close to a potential Orisa threat. But you need to play this well. You need to make sure that you're playing this slow. You need to make sure that you are not giving the enemy team all of your resources and cooldowns, so you need to play this tight. Problem is that when you do this, this is a problem. It takes you a long time for you to walk all the way back here into this room. If you get suddenly bursted by like every single shot known to man, there is nothing that you can do to not die besides pop all of your cooldowns and your resources, right? Just stay close. You have a good angle to shoot them all from here. You don't need to move all the way out here. Number one, right? Right, but like look at how much shield you're using, right? And again, look at where the rest of your team is, right? If we look back here and we look at this shield right now, Orisa can, these guys can shoot at Orisa, sure, right? But most of your team just doesn't even have LOS into the fight currently. This is like pretty much of a 5v1 situation. Actually more like a 4v1 situation, but you get what I mean, right? This doesn't need to happen. You can take these guys' attention away. You can hold this space pretty comfortably without necessarily sitting right out here out in the open or having all of this visibility, right? And then you won't be taking so much damage and losing so much shield health, right? Because this is the last thing that I want to happen. Your 234 HP popped your grasp and you're not doing anything with it. The only thing that you're using this grasp for is to survive, and that's not something that needs to happen at this stage in the fight, this early on in the fight. Right? Alright. Okay. So now you don't have grasp. You're getting walked on, and what ends up happening? Where do you drop? You drop down here. If you're, I want you here so that you can just keep kiting back into this room so that you can keep holding space down, space even on this side. Even if you just like end up going back here or something like that, I need you to be holding space up here, right? Because that's the only way that we're going to live this. If we let them get this space, especially if we let this soldier swing out here with his visor, this is going to be horrible. But you don't need to be thinking that hard. You just need to understand that, okay, I left this angle, now they're going to take it, and we're going to get pushed back. All we need to do is stay on angle, hold angle, and make sure that they do not take angle. That's it. Ooga booga. Right? That's all we really need to be thinking about. So you pop the ults. Did that hit nothing? Is that what happened? Yeah, it just hit nothing. Yeah, because it was a panic ult. And then you get life gripped out here, and then we get pushed back, and we get shot at, and they pop ults and whatnot. And it gets all messy and chaotic. But look how much space we lost. We had all the way up. We were holding all the way up here, and then we lost all of this space simply because of the fact that you had to drop down here. Now they were pushing. They were using cooldowns. They were using resources. They were using ults. You stay here, you come back here, you shoot people in the back, they back up. That's just gonna be how it's gonna be, right? You were just way too inexpensive to clear you out of that space, and that just should not have happened. Okay. Back up here. Push people again. That's a little bit more understandable because of the fact that you didn't get there directly. You got there from a life reaver pedal. Right? But then again, this is kind of poor shield management to a degree, where you probably could have contracted your shield before and put it out here, and then tried to hit the rock on this gas, right? But yeah, you were definitely going to get cleared from here. That's for that coalescence though, and you have that perk too, so it's fine. Again, where do you need to be, right? You need to go straight from cover to cover, so you need to end up here. You need to clear this dude out, and you can just chill up here and then use this as cover from then, right? And then that way, if the Orisa starts shooting at you, then you can isolate this angle right here, right? But we don't want you popping all of your cooldowns just because of the fact that she's sitting on main. And I'm sorry. I just have to say it's because I love it when kinetic grasp is used like this. I just love it. It's just like eye candy to me, right? Like just walk on them with kinetic grasp. It's so fun, right? And then we just chill and we push up. Okay. Now this is where we're going to start talking a little bit more about macro, right? And specifically when it comes to your Sigma and when we're talking about macro, we have to understand that just a couple things, like just like pretty much two things. Number one, this is our number one priority, pushing this. As long as we're pushing this, we're doing well. If we are pushing this and you're going to try and make another decision that's going to spend anything, that's going to, spend anything to get anything else, but we already have the space to push this, then that, is pretty much a poor decision at that point, right? As long as we are making cart progress, we are winning, right? That's the main goal. All we need to do is stop them from stopping us. Once that happens. Second thing that we need to worry about is the fact that when we have someone on cart pushing cart, it means that we have someone who's practically out of the fight, unless the fight is close to the cart, right? So if we try and push and take a fight somewhere all the way out here, we are fighting a man down at the very least. Those two things being said, what that means is that we just need to just take a bunch of space to push the cart up to a position that we can push, hold, then once we're here, then we can burn all of our ultimates and our resources to push them back even further, and then we can just take any, just like wait, hold, push the cart even further, and then wash, rinse, repeat, right? That's all we need to do. If we go beyond that, and we try to extend crazy for a whole bunch of space that we cannot sustain, regularly, then what's going to happen is we're going to be losing a whole bunch of resources that we need in order to be able to hold space here. Also, we're going to be playing a man down there, so we're just pretty much condemning ourselves to an early death. So I'm not going to say, let's see how that works from now. I'm liking this rotation. I like you sitting up here. I don't like the fact that you used your entire barrier or whatever, but this is a problem, right? We do like where's our Life Weaver, right? Where's our Sojourn? Where's our Freya? No, none of us have great angles. Our Illari does pop ultimate, but that doesn't mean that we move. Because what determines when are we moving? What determines when we're pushing up, when we're trying to take space? This thing. And this thing is not here. So why are we trying to take a fight outside of that? Right? We shouldn't be. And that being said, what does this kinetic grasp achieve? Our space that we have is not currently under threat. Right? It's just some poke pressure from a soldier 76. This changes nothing. Right? What does this achieve? It does not, allow us to take any more space because of the fact that we don't even need any more space either way, right? We don't need any more space. We're just wasting cooldowns in a fight that we're not supposed to win, right? And you start walking up and then start pushing things out and fighting all the way up here. Problem is, we're not even going to, consider the fact that Illari is dead. Life Weaver's not even in the fight. He's not able to participate in the fight, pretty much at all. And we're concerned with holding space all the way up here. Right? I'm not saying that you cannot do this. I'm saying that if you are going to hold space here and stage here, don't trade. Don't fight. But this is going to be really, really easy for the enemy team to clear you out, and you're going to need a darn good response to that. Right? And again, what does that end up? What ends up happening? Where does the Orisa go? Right up here to try and clear you out. Right? What ends up happening? Shield, kinetic grasp, and you're right back to where you started. Either way. Okay. Okay. Now, payload's here, which means we can start pushing, but our Illari is not here yet currently. Right? We just need to be thinking about that. Thinking about what we need to do. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Cards here. We have overclock. We have Freya or Freya ults, whatever. I don't care about the ultimate situation. You know, or Freya, whatever. I don't care. You popping ult here, whatever. I don't care, right? We've got players here. Alari's still in spawn, but Soldier's in spawn too, so that doesn't matter. Now, what does that essentially mean? What this means is that we're going to try and take space. Where does our Sig ult need to be? It needs to be in, like, what does it do? Well, it you know, drains a whole bunch of resources from people in a certain space and it locks them there. So we just need to find whose space that we want to take, and we need to pop the ult on them, right? Or on this, right? Your problem is that you're concerned with popping ult on Weiyang that's all the way back here. Like, you're not going to kill this, number one, but that's not even the point. The point is the fact that, like, the whole ult is supposed to be used to take space. But we cannot take this space right now, right? This is way farther extended than we even need to think about at the moment, because we're winning. We're winning. We've got cart. We've got space. All we need to do is just make sure that this cast can't push our entire team back with his high noon. All we need to do is make sure that this Orisa can't do squat, and she already can't do squat because she's 1 HP. So let's just solo ult the cast and kill him. Or you don't even need to solo ult him, to be honest. You can just walk on him, and it'll be fine. But you trying to put your ult over here isn't great, right? Ignoring the fact that you end up dropping, this isn't going to really achieve much. So it's not a, it's really not a good thing, not a good idea. Okay, and now you're getting hard push back and whatnot. We get pushed back even further. We get pushed back even further. We get pushed back even further. We got pushed back even further. We got pushed back even further and even further. Like, look at how far back we got pushed, right? You popped ult on a Weiyang over here, and we end up losing all of this space going all the way back down to here, right? All of that space. We ended up losing. Okay. Just something to consider. And again, this is kind of just more of like an overextension principle here, where it's like you're kind of pushing into this space. You either go and push in to claim this, like, seriously, or you just, like, kind of kite back. I don't like the kind of iffy, you know, will I, won't I kind of stupid thing right here, and then pop in the kinetic grasp on the Orisa. Like, you don't even need to care about this Orisa. Go push, take the space, or just hold and then just don't do that. All right, like, one or the other. Don't try to do both. Nice rock. Nice strong. Nice strong. Okay. Push up here. Push up here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Okay, trading with the Orisa. Why not? Okay. Here's the problem kind of happens. I want you to look at the current situation here, right? Where's your team, right? Where's your team kind of situated? Your Sojourn's over here shooting at this, able to shoot at this Orisa. Your Freya is down here, pretty much shooting at whatever the heck she's shooting at. I want you to look at where their team is. Horrible position. Horrible position. Horrible position. Horrible position. One player on the enemy team actually has good positioning, then it means that they don't have good positioning, right? We just clear this out. This Orisa is way overextended. Well, all we really need to do is just wait until she gets pushed out, because it's going to be inevitable at this point. The last thing that we want to do is overextend ourselves and then trade 1-4. But if we slow this down a little bit, like, you can literally just, like, walk and stand back here. Just, like, walk back here, stand back here, and just shoot at Orisa, right? But what is this? I don't like the jumping out. I don't like this kinetic grasp. It looks like you're trying to fish for value still out here into this space, or trying to set up an ultimate, which either of those things are stupid, right? This is not space that we even need to concern ourselves with. This is the only space that matters because this is close. That's far, right? We can just completely clear this Moira and this Orisa by just standing back here, chilling, shooting at these guys and pushing them back, and then taking up some space, taking up some angles on these sides, and then popping ults. And then that's how you win games. But now what you're going to essentially do is you're going to start popping ult in the LOS of the entire enemy team. Remember, these guys had no line of sight of anything. They don't see anything. And you're just giving yourselves to them on a silver platter. So, of course, you're just going to get, like, absolutely shredded in your ult. Right? Like, that's problematic. Now, I'm not going to look at your ball gameplay because, you know, I know how you feel about ball. I don't care. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some... I think Reinhardt is going to be... Oh. We're starting on Sigma. We're starting on Sigma. Okay. We do start on Sigma. Okay, we're going to get Reinhardt later. Later on. All right. Starting position. Okay. This is the starting positions for this map on this map for Sigma are kind of just a little bit tricky. This position allows you to actually like stall cart and like poke at people, which is fine, right? These positions back here are just like way too passive. This position right here just doesn't give you any rotation options that are going to be fine. Like you're going to get cut off really hard. And if you drop down here, that's like way too many resources on the trade. Like there's not a lot of really good Sigma positioning spots on this map. So at this point, it's kind of like, it is probably going to just be like a stall card situation. It's going to be your end game. You can stay up here and start spamming on people until that happens and then rotate back down. But yeah, this is like, it is what it is. Now you pop. Now here's an important thing because you're trying to deny the soldier angle from having any substantial value. That's right, and that's fine, right? You pop the shield up. This is great. You bring the shield down. Problem is that 1, 2, 3. You know that they're going to come back to you. You know that this is a position of interest, right? So you need to be able to time the reapplication of the shield here. And this is going to need to happen like really shortly, like right now. You need to pop the shield right back up right now. Right? Because what's going to happen is that there's going to be like 1, 2, 3 people going to shoot down main and shoot at your team, and you need to be able to stop this. This is just going to be, this is not even just this map or this map specific. There's going to be a power position where like a lot of, especially when they have a whole bunch of long range heroes, that there's going to just be like 30 different people trying to vie for that position to stay there and to start spamming at your team. You're going to need to cycle shield on it. Especially if you have like a position like this where it's like really, really awkward and uncomfortable, like honestly, you're probably going to just, your best bet is probably just popping shield back up here and then just saving your HP, right? Yeah. Right. But whatever. This isn't horrible either. Now, here's my problem. Here's my problem. And this is where we start getting into the main issue that I'm talking about when it comes to a lot of other things. Now, this is going to be a thing that I'm going to be talking with you about later on as well, and especially with your Reinhardt gameplay, but this is an extremely important thing. When we take fights, obviously you know that we want to take fights in positions that are comfortable for us and uncomfortable for the enemy team, right? This is essentially this is a really, really big, important thing to go over, right? We need to take fights in certain positions that we want. What we also need to do is we need to stop the enemy from taking fights in positions that they like, right? Now, what a big part of that is to look at the team compositions that we're running into and running against and making that kind of judgment there about what spaces that they want. Now, they have an Orisa. The big difference is both teams kind of have like heroes that want to play at long ranges. They have Orisa, you have Sigma, right? They have a Moira, you have a Lifeweaver, right? Now they do have Widowmaker, they do have Soldier 76 and Muyang and whatnot, and we have, you know, Alari, Sojourn, you know, Freya. So we have a lot of long range potential versus long range potential, but the difference is, the big difference here in between the compositions is the fact that These guys have heroes that are much more better, that like are much better in terms of like brawling tighter areas than our heroes are in terms of their flexibility, right? Our heroes have relatively inflexible ranges in comparison to them. Not by much, but by a factor that it can be significant in the long term. So we need to be able to identify that and analyze that and understand what space do we really, really not want to fight in against this, right? And that's going to be in this tight area in this choke back here. The second that that this happens, right, that the fight gets over here, we're on the back foot. We need to make sure that this doesn't happen. And the best way of doing so is by holding here. And if you hold here, they got to turn their backs around to try and clear you out, or they have to go and cut all of their space to try and clear you out and push you out from this way, right? Then your team can shoot them from the back. This is space that you can hold. You have better brawl potential than a majority of their team does. You can hold your own for a little while against an Orisa on Sigma. You can definitely hold your own against a Moira. Like, they have some other heroes that might want to try and pressure you, right? But the thing is, like, you have that brawl potential. You have the staying power to be able to stay here. Life Weaver can probably heal you from over here if he gets line of sight. But mainly your team is going to be able to pressure down here and help you out if if push comes to shove in that regard. Right? Now this is also a little bit risky. Okay? This is a little bit risky, right? To sit here and just kind of like chill here because you're getting really, really close to the enemy team. Problem is that if you back up here, which you're about to see what's going to happen, if you back up here, you give them all of this map. And then that pushes you back to this position. And once you are here, you either have to give up even more map to the enemy in order to maintain your advantage, which is going to, again, be costly because you cannot kite that far that fast, right? Or if you stay and fight here, that gives them the opportunity to set up a flank this way, to set up flanks this way, and not only that, but just to stuff you in this choke, and this is going to be extremely uncomfortable, right? So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have that ability, that sense of like, where's the enemy team going to, where's the enemy team going to want to fight, and what am I going to do in response to that, to that desire, right? What am I going to do in response to that? This rotation back here gives them everything that they want, because this is exactly where they want you to be. Staying here and fighting them at least gives your team a fighting chance. You're down one already. You're probably going to lose the fight either way. But if you're down one, that is sure as heck the time you do not want to give space. If you ever giving space, it is not going to be when you're down one. Because that's just how you win. That's just how they win. Right? Because now this is it. It's just over. Okay. Now you're going to be on the Reinhardt here. Now, here's... And then this is it. This is it. When we're talking about the Reinhardt, how does the situation change? Well, it means that your brawl potential against a lot of these heroes skyrockets. If you get close range on any of these guys, it's going to be a problem for them. Maybe not the Orisa, but literally anyone else. So all you need to do is make sure you're threatening that brawl range, and you can stop them from taking spaces. Now, what spaces do you want to stop them from taking? Well, for instance, let's look at this Widowmaker, right? This area gives her a very nice, really strong long-range sightline against your team, which she is better in long ranges than any other hero in the game, and pretty much every hero on your team right now. So what do? We just, if you have the ability, run it all the way down and start chasing this Widow and making sure that she can't sit here comfortably, right? If you do something like that, then she's not going to get to the space that she wants. But most importantly, it's going to stop them from actually being able to take advantage of fighting in spaces that are more comfortable for their heroes, like right here, right? Second that those off angles are gone, we spread out this way. We take all of this space out this way. We're going to stuff them at choke as opposed to us being stuffed at choke. And then that's going to start feeling a whole lot more comfortable. So you start this push over here to try and push them out of this area, and this is great. This is perfect. This is amazing. This is great. This is great. And now it's not. Just keep going. Just literally just keep going. Walk up with shield and start, or just like walk on this Widow. Like this is not going to help you, right? This doesn't do anything because now Widow and Wu Yang still get to stay up here, and now they have another chance to start dueling your DPS. Just go. You're on the angle. You're on this lane. Just push, and just push. I don't care if you don't get a kill. Who cares if you don't get a kill? They just don't get the space. The space is what matters. Right. Because as you can see, like, we're winning this fight, but, like, you've done 0. So in a situation where the enemy team was just mechanically better and didn't screw up, like, you know, they all did, like, this entire game. Like the enemy team was horrible this entire game. Your team was honestly kind of horrible too, but, you know, the enemy team was probably more horrible, right? And also they're down a player, right? Then, you know, you practically did nothing. You practically did nothing here. Now, in this current situation, right? Now we have that we've won this fight. We want to think about where we want to take this. Okay, let's look at our team. Let's look at the enemy team. Because of the fact that you swapped out the Sigma, and because of the fact that they have the Widowmaker, right? This is they have Widowmaker. They have Soldier. They have whatchamacallit, Wu Yang. Right, they do have the Moira, but you're running Reinhardt. That immediately, you know, makes it so that you're way more effective in close range spaces than they are, right? Because of that fact, what your advantage here is against them is your ability to control short range space. So that means that that's going to be what you need to do. You need to threaten the positions that they want to take by controlling short range space. And the best way that you're going to be able to do that is by staging into a position that makes it that you don't have to you don't have to close the distance. You're already there. This position is honestly perfect. You literally just stay here, right? Just literally stay here, stage here. If because this stops the Widowmaker from going up here and just getting a sightline under your backline, right? Because you're right here and you can hit fire strikes and you can swing on her if that happens. And if the enemy team decides to start hard trying to push you out of here, clear you out of here, then all you need to do is just drop and then you're right back down here to another good position, right? Or if they don't try and clear you out and they try and rotate through main, then if somebody else tries to take this space, then you just punish that, right? Just stage here. Just stage here. It's totally fine. Right? Stage here. If 4 or 5 people come over here to try and clear you out, then that's fine. You can just drop and then go right back to this position that you're going to end up on anyway. Right? This forces them to have to clear you out first before they get to the staging positions that they want, right? And you can make that very expensive. Because this does nothing. Like, why are you here? Like, you're Reinhardt. Like, what is this? This does not help you, like, one bit in the slightest. And now this Widow is going to get this angle over here. The Soldier's going to be able to... They're going to start spreading out. They're going to start taking a whole bunch of angles, and they're going to spread out, just take all the space, and they're going to win. You know, they're going to win over here. They're not going to win back here, but you just lose all of that space kind of pretty much for no reason. Right? So now we can fight here. This is actually a really decent place to fight for you. And you're taking really full advantage of that. But we could have done more of this. Okay, whatever. Okay. Right. Now you're about to do something really, really stupid. We do not have the ability to go all the way up here and stage here anymore. This is completely cut off. They already have that space. We don't have... You don't have the ability to you know, stage here because of the fact that we're not going to be trying to fight over here anymore, right? This is not necessarily a space that we're clearly going to be fighting in, and it's going to be really easy for you to for them to clear you out because your team is going to be just like way too far away to be able to actually deal with this. Like these guys really don't want to be. These guys really don't want to be here, right? What you can do. Honestly, actually, no. This position isn't horrible. I just don't think it was necessarily the best thing that you can do. Right? But this is obviously not the decision. You're trying to push up here, and you're trying to force his staging over here, but the timing is already off. Like, there's no way that you're going to be able to do this. And I think you recognize this, but you recognize that a little bit too late. Right? Honestly, you literally, at the start of this, even without knowing that they had a monkey, if you had literally just staged here, this would have been fine. Why? Because where is the fight really going to be taking place? Because we can't push through here because this fight is going to be, you know, dragged back, right? The fight's really probably going to be taking place around cart, right? You don't have the ability to hold them and stop them from taking angles up here, so that means that they're going to start clearing. They're going to clear through this space easy, right? This is not space that the rest of your team is comfortable playing in. It's space that you're comfortable playing in, but the second that the rest of your team tries to do the same thing, it's just not going to be fun, right? What you want to do is you want to stop them where the fight's going to happen, which is probably going to be back here. What are they going to try and take? What space are they going to try and take in order to be able to fight here? Well, they're going to be playing here, but I mean, like, you're going to be able to deal with them here, where you're not going to be able to deal with them over here, right? If they try to take this angle and try to flank out here, or if they try and flank out here, but your team is already here. Your team's got this, so you just want to stop this flank, right? Or if they start through main, then, like, you just position here. You stop them from, you discourage them from being able to take this space over here. If they end up taking space out this way or down here, then you can just pin through and then just start slamming on people. It's fine, right? But when you stage somewhere like here, this gives you options based off of what the enemy team is going to do. This doesn't give you, you know, trying to force a rotation that's not going to happen because they already control the space. You know, not your cup of tea. Right? All you need to do is just stage, mainly to stop the Widow and the Soldier from doing whatever they want. That's it. And then your team should be fine with everything else. This doesn't work. You know that this doesn't work. And now Monkey's here. Right? And now Monkey's here. From the space that you were here. I didn't care if the Monkey staged here or not. Right? This honestly should have been still where you were. Right? But now that this happens, look at how much space your team controls right now. Like 0. Like, they can control, like, the entire map from here. And you've got, like, nothing. You've got zip. Right? And then that shatter just wasn't aimed. This is nice. This is nice. But then again, this is another situation where I'm just like, just keep going. Just charge here. Just charge here, kill the Wu Yang, then push up and kill the Widow. Like... I don't get the whole trying to hit a shatter, hit a pin back here. You're just giving the space for free. All right, and then you're just gonna keep winning here. Whatever. And then I think this is this game. Okay, so you're gonna stage here. Which is fine, honestly. This is fine. And then you find the Moira, and then you put the pin back. And then we just clear house from here. Okay. Alright. So, that's definitely something that you're going to need to work on, right? When it comes to the Sigma, of course, micro positioning closer to corners, right? Using your cooldowns with intent, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But mainly, the main thing that I really want you to focus on with Sigma is understanding what space that you actually need and what space you don't, right? And being able to kind of play around that situation in that area, right? When it comes to Reinhardt, you need to know, it's the same thing, right? You need to kind of know exactly what space you need, what space you don't, but most importantly, what space is going to be better for you to fight into the enemy team, and what space is going to be better to fight, you know, worse to fight into the enemy team, so you can avoid those situations, right? Okay. And then from there, that's when you start trying to stop them from taking off angles so that you can control and continue to hold the space that you want. Right. So those are going to be the big things that we're going to talk about. I'm also going to talk about more about the second part about Reinhardt with you later when it comes to the Samoa code that you sent me recently. So be watch out for that. But first, this is kind of a good jumping off point for starters of like things that you need to work on, things that I saw, things that are significant enough for us to deal with. Right. This is not easy. It is just something that you need to do if you want to, climb higher and be more reliable as a teammate. All right. Hope this helps.